One light extinguishes just as another light ignites. The Baby in the Basket is currently streaming on Tubi. It was directed by Andy Crane and Nathan Shepka, and was written by Tom Jolieff, who did Cinderella's Revenge. Oh joy, oh bliss, we're in for a whirlwind of goddamn great narrative here. If you saw Cinderella's Revenge, I'm sorry, I'm so fucking sorry. This does also feature a story by Nathan Shepka. I'm sorry in a sense of pattern here. He also plays the character Daniel. That's a central figure for this particular story. And this was done by a few studios, including Shepka Productions. Boy, I'm really starting to sense a goddamn pattern here. And set in 1944 at a remote Scottish island-dwelling monastery, you have some nuns that find a baby in a basket in a movie called The Baby in the Basket. My God, the layers this narrative has already. Well, they eventually find the baby there. Actually, it takes about 30 to 35 minutes for the baby to fucking show up. This is a 100-minute long movie, by the way. So yeah, we have about an hour left of the baby there, and well, if you can't figure out where this story is going, then I don't know what to tell you. It means you probably need to get out more. Maybe get out of the way of movies like this. Look, I understand this was supposed to be a low-budget gothic horror movie, and while I appreciate the low-key story and the fact it tries to be a throwback, I did actually appreciate how the credits looked a little bit, 1960s, early 1970s, hammer horror and all that stuff. And I do like Amber Doig Thorne. I hope I pronounced that right. She was in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Not in Blood and Honey 2 because, sorry, spoilers, she didn't make it to the end of that movie. And you have a few other actors in this, but yes, Amber plays Agnes. And then you also have Michaela Longden, who plays Eleanor. And they're on two sides of a coin. Basically, Agnes is very devout. Eleanor basically has issues with her faith. Wonder if you can guess if anybody's going to flip their particular, side and go somewhere else and everything, and how this is going to go. I'll tell you how this is going to go. Basically stumbling down a goddamn hallway, and then breaking its leg and dragging itself down the hallway, somehow breaking its other leg, and then trying to drag itself to its goddamn room, or a bathtub where maybe it will just sit there and just fester and just rot away. Look, I know that this is sounding really harsh, and I understand this film had a small budget, and I don't mind films with small budgets, and I'm sure the cast tried, but good goddamn Christ, this was so low-key, this was so ultra-low budget, this was so bargain basement. This was not good. This was not good at all. And I could tell that the cast tried. And there were, from the very beginning, even the shots weren't framed well. There was an old lady being attacked by a wolf. I think. I'm also going to say that despite the low budget, if you can't do special effects, don't fucking have them happen. Just don't. Just use camera tricks and do some fancy stuff, but just don't show stuff if it looks like Windows Movie Maker 95 would say, lad, that's really goddamn not good. I'm sorry, this was not good. This was not good at all. I wish nothing but success for everybody involved, but with the low amount of people on the crew, clearly, and the fact that, yeah, you had people basically probably in over their goddamn heads. I'm sorry, but when you're wearing as many hats as Nathan was, I think you probably should have focused on just one particular thing. But also, it's a script written by the guy who did Cinderella's Revenge, so I think this story was probably totally fucked anyway. Not good. Really not good at all. It felt like it was edited with garden shears, yet at the same time felt like it was not edited at all. There are parts in, some action scenes, especially in the third act, that featured some of the worst fucking fighting that I've seen this side of a goddamn low-budget, low-wattage high school play. I was in a freaking production of Robin Hood in high school, and we had better fights, and we couldn't fight for goddamn shit. Man, this was just really, really, really not good. I'm so sorry if that sounds harsh, but when I see a bad movie, I gotta point it out. This was just ultra low budget, ultra bland, not scary, And that third act was absolute dog shit. And also the fact is it was stretching the story out to its fucking limits and didn't work at all. It's on Tubi. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. The baby's the Antichrist. Agnes ends up fully getting possessed and goes nuts. I will admit that Amber at least seemed to relish the idea of playing the villain. There's also a guy named Amos, no guy named Andy, more in the pity. Daniel also is a very pervy guy that's going to take over running the monastery. So I really don't feel bad for the character of Daniel eventually meeting his tragic end. Eleanor keeps going to the mainland seemingly because she's being sent away because Mother Superior can't have anything to do with her. Yeah, Agnes eventually ends up snapping when the baby shows up and realizes, hey, wait a second, this baby can corrupt me easily and it's evil and I'm going to listen to it. That's pretty much it. And then Eleanor eventually arrives back after this mother, or the one old lady that was attacked by the wolves. The wolf that was drastically changing its color depending on your perspective. Good work there. And yeah, Eleanor basically ends up having to find her faith to try and beat this evil. She doesn't end up fucking doing it, by the way. She ends up actually taking the kid with her. And that's about it. Oh, Mother Superior ends up naming him Peter. Not Peter Gabriel, no sledgehammer. Why don't you call my name? I think I would have rather taken a sledgehammer shot than invest more time in this. Like, really, this is a punishing 100-minute movie. You have the rest of the cast tries. I mean, bless them. They fucking try, but good God, this dialogue is so bad. So, Daniel basically has a lot of dark thoughts. He wants to sleep with pretty much all of the young nuns. And he sees one dancing naked at one point. I think it was Lucy. I think it was. I'm not actually totally sure. Lucy's kind of out there. I guess being isolated on a goddamn Scottish island would end up making you totally snap. Or maybe these women had undiagnosed mental health issues, which back in 1944, they were probably just considered mad. There's a brief little, allusion to the fact that the war is still going on because it is 1944. But that doesn't end up working. The guy that plays Amos actually does all right. He just seems to be from a totally different movie. He actually seems to be more from the goddamn Civil War era. I mean, the character, not the actor. And yeah, Mother Superior tries to kill the nun at one point, but ends up stabbing herself because the baby has totally corrupted everybody. Valerie, I believe, ends up hanging herself in the same dungeon area where Agnes was locked away for a bit because she totally snapped and wanted to kill the devil. In fact, you probably should have let her fucking do it because, A, we wouldn't have had a movie, but maybe we could have followed these nuns around as they were doing a musical. Hell, it would have been a whole lot better than anything else from this fucking fiasco. And yeah, Eleanor asks for forgiveness. Agnes ends up before this stabbing Amos in the leg. And then she eventually kills him with a cross. She's fully corrupted. She crucifies Daniel and cuts his dick off, which, to be fair, Daniel was kind of a creepy dick. He even sniffed some of the women's underwear at some point, so yeah, he kind of probably deserved to die. I just want to say that. Oh yes, and there were also some very lewd pictures or kind of sexy pictures that were found in one of the girls' drawers. That's not a euphemism. And a showdown with Eleanor and Agnes, and I'm sorry, but this fight was terrible, and I don't want them to actually lay into each other, but good God, I have seen stuff from independent wrestling shows where there are students that work a lot harder than this and make it look more realistic. These special effects, that baby, that CGI baby, I mean, good goddamn Christ, the basket case baby looked good. In basket case 3, when it didn't look any good at all, because they gave up because it was basket case 3. And then Eleanor takes a goddamn kid with her because Agnes gets killed. And then gets killed again. Beat over the head with a statue, by the way, that I have to say, I mean, you don't need to be hitting people with it, but remember in Night of the Living Dead when it didn't look like the guy was actually hitting the zombie in the head that hard? Yeah, he was hitting that zombie a lot harder than she was hitting anybody in the head with the goddamn statue. So, yeah, she ends up doing the bidding. There's these weird satanic voices that pop up. Eleanor was all panicked earlier. Whatever. I mean, okay, this movie has no point. That's pretty much all I have to say right there. F. It gets an F. I'm sorry. Trying to be a low-key throwback to gothic horror and everything only gets you so far when you have about that much of an idea and you stretch it the fuck out here. Yeah, so F. Agree, disagree what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland, and I'll see you soon.